The first crack in my marriage wasn't a loud, shattering thing. It was the quiet click of a suitcase latch in our spare bedroom, the one we'd painted a cheerful sunflower yellow just a few weeks prior. Damien stood beside it, radiating an enthusiasm that felt off. Too bright, like stage lights. "It's perfect, isn't it, Nance?" had declared, gesturing around the room we'd meticulously prepared. A new duvet cover, fresh towels still bearing store creases, a little welcome basket with local snacks, and a guidebook. Giving someone this opportunity, it feels really good. The opportunity was hosting an international student. Damien had stumbled upon the Cultural Exchange Connect program online, or so he claimed. Had been buzzing about it for weeks, waxing lyrical about cultural exchange, broadening horizons, the inherent goodness of opening our home. Our home. A home I thought was built on the bedrock of us. He painted such a vivid picture, helping a young person navigate a new country, sharing our city, fostering global understanding. It appealed to the part of me that still believed in simple kindness. How could I say no? It felt selfish, small-minded to deny such a generous impulse. Besides, Damien was rarely this passionate about community stuff. I mistook his fervor for altruism. Stupid. The student was arriving from France. Elodie Dubois. Damien showed me her profile on the program website, a bright, smiling face, dark eyes sparkling, short dark hair stylishly tousled. Her bio spoke of her love for art history, her excitement to experience American life, her gratitude for the hosting opportunity. Everything looked meticulously official. Damien handled all the communication with the program coordinator, a doctor, Aurice Thorne, whose emails were formal and reassuring. There were PDFs outlining expectations, liability waivers, cultural sensitivity guides. It felt legitimate. It felt real. Looking back, the red flags were there, flapping wildly in the wind I was determined to ignore. Damien became unusually possessive of the process. "Oh, you've got it, babe," he'd say, snatching his phone away if an email notification popped up while we were watching TV. "It's just boring admin stuff from DR. Thorne." He started working later, citing new project deadlines. His phone, always face down, developed a new, vibrating urgency. He'd take calls outside, murmuring in a low voice I couldn't decipher, blaming it on poor reception or a sensitive work issue. The spare room became his domain. I wasn't to worrying about a thing. He insisted. He wanted it to be a surprise for Elodie. My unease was a loathsome, easily drowned out by the louder soundtrack of his charm and the seemingly impeccable paperwork. The day Elodie arrived, Damien was practically vibrating. He insisted on picking her up from the airport alone. "It'll be overwhelming enough," he reasoned, squeezing my hand. "Let her settle in a bit before meeting everyone." It made sense. Sort of. I busied myself making a welcome dinner, setting the table with extra care, trying to quell the irrational knot of anxiety in my stomach. When the door opened, the woman who walked in wasn't just the girl from the profile picture. She was more. Confident. Her eyes, when they met mine, held a flicker of something that wasn't just jet-lagged confusion. Apprehension. Guilt. Or was I just projecting my own stupid insecurities? Damien hovered beside her, his arm hovering protectively near her back without quite touching it. An intimate proximity. "Nancy, this is Elodie." "Elodie, my wife, Nancy," Damien announced, his voice a touch too loud, too hearty. "And Shandy, Nancy," Elodie said, her voice low and melodic. Her handshake was brief, her gaze sliding away quickly. "Thank you so much for having me. Damien has been incredibly helpful already." There was a slight pause before incredibly helpful. Damien beamed, oblivious, or expertly performing. The first few days were a strange dance. Elodie was polite but reserved, spending a lot of time in her room or out exploring. Damien was suddenly the model host, offering endless city tips, suggesting museums had never shown interest in before, insisting on driving her places until she got her bearings. Head come home smelling faintly of a perfume that wasn't mine, a soft, floral scent I didn't recognize. Must be the soap at that new cafe she liked. Head shrugged when I asked, a little too casually. The program rules outlined in Dr. Thorne's emails were specific. Hosts and students were to maintain clear boundaries. Private time was essential. Shared meals were encouraged, but separate lives respected. Yet Damien seemed to blur every line. He'd linger after dinner while I cleared dishes, deep in conversation with Elodie about obscure French films. He'd laugh at her jokes with a warmth that felt exclusive. He started using French phrases, poorly pronounced, grinning at her corrections. It felt like watching a private club form in my own kitchen, one I hadn't been invited to join. The cracks widened. I found a delicate, unfamiliar silver hairpin shaped like a feather on the bathroom counter. Not mine. When I held it up, Damien frowned. Oh, that? Elodie must have dropped it. She mentioned losing one. He pocketed it smoothly. I'll give it back. He didn't. Another night, I woke to an empty bed. The house was silent. Padding downstairs for water, I saw the soft glow of a phone screen illuminating Damien's face in the living room. He was texting, a small, secretive smile playing on his lips. The kind of smile he used to reserve for me. He jumped when he saw me, quickly locking the screen. Couldn't sleep. Work stuff. The lie hung thick in the air. My heart hammered against my ribs. The Cultural Exchange Connect website suddenly felt flimsy. I searched for Dr. Maurice Thorne. Nothing. No university affiliation, no professional profile. The phone number listed on the official-looking PDFs Damien had printed went straight to a generic voicemail. Panic, cold and slick, started to rise. This wasn't right. I confronted Damien, my voice trembling. This Dr. Thorne, I can't find anything about him. This program, it feels off. His reaction was instant, defensive. Nancy, for God's sake. It's a small nonprofit. Not everyone has a huge online presence. Are you accusing me of something? His eyes flashed with anger, but beneath it, I saw a flicker of fear. He stormed out, claiming he needed air. He didn't come back for hours. The scent of that floral perfume clung to him when he finally slipped into bed. Suspicion curdled into a hard, cold certainty. The Cultural Exchange was a facade, a meticulously constructed lie. But I needed proof, not just for my shattered heart, but to shatter the elaborate stage set they'd built in my home. Damien announced a weekend program retreat for hosts and students, a bonding trip to a nearby lake town organized by the elusive Dr. Thorne. He was overly excited, packing with unusual care. Elodie seemed nervous, avoiding my eyes. The official-looking itinerary Damien printed listed a generic hotel. My hands shook as I booked a room in the same town, under my sister's name, using cash she'd quietly withdrawn. The deception tasted like ass. Following them felt like living in a nightmare. My rental car trailed Damien's familiar SUV at a distance that felt both too close and infinitely far. They didn't drive to the hotel on the itinerary. They drove to a secluded, charming bed-and breakfast nestled by the water. Not a group retreat in sight. They checked in together. Not as host and student, as a couple. Damien's hand rested possessively on the small of Elodie's back as they walked in, carrying a single overnight bag. The intimacy of the gesture, the ease of it, stole the breath from my lungs. I parked down the street, hidden by trees, the engine off, the silence screaming. Hours crawled by. The picturesque scene outside my windshield, the sparkling lake, the quaint buildings, was a grotesque parody. My world had narrowed to the entrance of that B&B. The sun began to dip, painting the sky in fiery hues that felt mocking. Then the door opened. They emerged, changed. Damien wore casual clothes I'd never seen before, expensive looking. Elodie wore a flowing sundress, her hair loose. They looked relaxed, happy. Together, they walked hand in hand towards the lakefront, leaning into each other, sharing a quiet laugh. Damien brushed a strand of hair from Elodie's face, a gesture so tender, so familiar, it felt like a physical blow. He kissed her. Not a greeting or a farewell. A slow, deep, lingering kiss full of shared secrets and stolen moments. A kiss that belonged in our story, not this tawdry fraud. I watched, numb, detached, as if observing actors in a play. But the pain was devastatingly real, a raw, tearing sensation deep inside my chest. The cultural exchange was a scam. A cruel, calculated ruse to bring his mistress into our home, funded by my trust and disguised as charity. Doctor. Arise Thorne was a phantom, a figment of Damien's deceitful imagination, an email address he controlled. The paperwork, the website, all forged, all designed to gaslight me into accepting the enemy sleeping down the hall. He had engineered a daily, in-my-face betrayal, manipulating my goodwill to facilitate his affair. Had made me complicit in my own devastation. I didn't confront them there by the lake. What would be the point? Watching the proof was punishment enough. I drove back through the gathering darkness, the tears finally coming in silent, wrenching sobs that shook my entire body. The familiar streets blurred. The house, our house, loomed large and hollow when I returned. The cheerful sunflower yellow of the spare room door seemed to mock me. I went straight to the room. Her things were neatly arranged. The hairpin wasn't there, but on the desk, plugged in, was her sleek European phone charger. Next to it, half hidden under a guidebook it bought, was a small, crumpled receipt. It was from a boutique downtown, dated the day after she arrived. Purchased, one silk camisole. Paid with Damien's credit card. The final, mundane piece of evidence. I didn't pack a bag. I didn't rage. I sat on the edge of the bed we'd shared for 8 years, the bed that now felt contaminated, and waited. The silence was absolute, pressing in on me. The floral scent of her shampoo lingered faintly in the air. Hours later, I heard the key in the lock. Damien's footsteps were light, almost buoyant. He hummed a tune as he walked down the hall. He pushed open our bedroom door, the smile on his face fading instantly when he saw me sitting there in the dark. The crumpled receipt held loosely in my hand, my face ravaged by tears I hadn't bothered to wipe away. "Nancy? What's wrong? Why are you sitting in the dark?" His voice held concern, expertly crafted. The actor slipping back into his role. I didn't shout. My voice was frighteningly calm, scraped raw from crying. The lake was beautiful at sunset, wasn't it, Damien? Did you and Elodie enjoy the bonding exercises? Or was the bed at the Willow Creek Inn more comfortable for your cultural exchange? The color drained from his face. It was almost comical, the speed of it. His mouth opened, closed. The lie stalled in his throat. He saw the receipt in my hand. He saw the absolute, shattered knowledge in my eyes. The carefully constructed facade of the Cultural Exchange Connect program, Dr. Thorne, the benevolent host, it all crumbled to dust in that instant. "Nancy, it's not I can explain," he stammered, taking a step towards me, his hand outstretched. I flinched back as if burned. "Don't." That single word held a universe of pain, betrayal, and finality. "Don't touch me. Don't lie to me. Not anymore." I stood up, my legs trembling but holding. "I know everything. I saw you. I saw you." The image of their kiss by the lake flashed behind my eyes, a searing brand. The program is fake, Doctor. Thorne is fake. She's not a student. She's your what? Girlfriend. Lover. How long, Damien? How long have you been laughing at me while you freaked her in the room I helped you paint? The vulgarity shocked him. Good. I wanted to shock him. I wanted to shatter the comfortable bubble of his deception. His face contorted, a mixture of guilt, panic, and something that looked dangerously like resentment. "It's not like that. It just happened. Things haven't been good with us. I was lonely. The word ripped out of me, a guttural sound. "So you concocted this elaborate scam. You brought her into our home. You made me welcome her, buy her towels, cook her meals. You used my trust, my decency, as a freaking beard for your affair? The rage, held back by shock and numbness, finally surged, white-hot and terrifying. You made me an accomplice. You made me look at her every day and smile while you were planning your little getaway. Did you freak her in here too? While I was at work. Did you use our bed? No. Nancy, please. He looked genuinely distressed now, but it was too late. The damage was absolute. It was only the spare room. It wasn't planned like this. Oh, it was exactly planned like this. I screamed, the sound tearing at my throat. The website, the emails, the fake doctor, that was all you. That was weeks, months of planning. That was premeditated. You didn't slip, Damien. You engineered this. You built a stage in our home and cast me as the oblivious fool. I picked up this small ceramic dish from my dresser, a silly souvenir from our honeymoon, and hurled it against the wall. It shattered with a satisfyingly violent crash. Get out. What? Nancy, this is my house too. Get out. I roared, advancing on him. I didn't recognize my own voice. Get out now, or I swear to God, I will call the police and tell them there's an intruder. Get your whore and get the freak out of my house. The venom in the word whore surprised even me, but it felt justified. She wasn't an innocent exchange student. She was a knowing participant in this cruel charade. He stumbled back, fear finally replacing the guilt in his eyes. Fine, fine, it'll go. But we need to talk about this calmly. There is nothing to talk about, I said, my voice dropping back to that terrifying calm. You are a liar and a cheat. And you are a coward who hid behind a fake charity to betray your wife. Get out now. Take her with you. I want you both gone before I come back downstairs. I turned my back on him, staring at the shattered pieces of our honeymoon dish on the floor. A fitting metaphor. I heard him move, heard the soft click of the spare room door opening, heard muffled, urgent voices. Elodie's higher pitch, anxious. Damien's low, frantic explanations. The sounds of hurried packing. Zippers, drawers slamming. I didn't move. I stared at the wall, seeing nothing, feeling everything shatter inside me over and over again. The front door opened and closed with a heavy finality. The sound of his car starting, the tires crunching on the gravel driveway, fading away. Silence descended again, deeper and more profound than before. They were gone. But the scam remained. It permeated the walls, the furniture, the very air. The sunflower yellow room was no longer cheerful. It was a crime scene. The welcome basket sat untouched on the dresser, a monument to my naivety. The scent of her floral perfume lingered like poison gas. The forged documents, the phantom DR. Thorn, it was all still here. Evidence of a betrayal so elaborate, so coldly calculated, it felt inhuman. I walked through the empty house, a ghost in my own life. I stopped at the threshold of the spare room. Her presence was everywhere, a forgotten hair tie on the knitstand, a tube of French hand cream by the sink. I picked up the cream. Expensive. Bought with whose money? Damien's, probably. Our money. Funding their deception. The full weight crashed down. The humiliation was paralyzing. He had just cheated, had made a mockery of me. Had used my trust, my willingness to help, my belief in him, as tools to facilitate his affair. Had looked me in the eye every day and spun tales about Dr. Thorn and cultural exchange while planning his next tryst with his fake student. Had made me doubt my own perceptions, dismissing my unease as paranoia. Had weaponized my kindness. I sank to the floor in the hallway, my back against the cool wall, the tube of hand cream clutched in my fist like a grenade. The tears came again, silent this time, a river of grief and rage and profound shame. How could I have been so blind? How could I have believed his enthusiasm? How could I have let this stranger into our sanctuary? The cultural exchange scam. That's what it was. Not an affair born of passion or circumstance, but a meticulously orchestrated fraud. A con job perpetrated by the man I loved against the woman who trusted him utterly. He hadn't just broken my heart, had shattered my reality, my sense of safety, my belief in truth itself. The foundation of my world wasn't just cracked, it was revealed to be built entirely on lies, carefully papered over with forged documents and fake smiles. The room down the hall wasn't a spare bedroom anymore, it was the physical manifestation of his betrayal, painted in cheerful yellow, a color I would never be able to look at again without feeling sick. The silence of the house wasn't peaceful, it was the echoing void left by the demolition of everything I thought was real. And the worst part? The scam might be over, but the cleanup had only just begun, and I was standing alone in the wreckage, holding nothing but a tube of expensive French hand cream and the suffocating knowledge that the man I married was a stranger. A master manipulator who had turned our home into the stage for his cruelest performance. The curtain had fallen, but the damage was permanent, etched into the walls, the furniture, and the very fabric of my being.